Kristine Beckerle is a researcher at Human Rights Watch. She joins us now to discuss the humanitarian situation in Yemen. Kristine, thank you for joining us on TRT World. I just want to begin by asking you what more Human Rights Watch knows about this terrible incident in the capital.
So thank you for having me. We've been looking into the attack that happened yesterday, sort of as soon as we found out that it happened. I would say that we've looked at some photos of the site where the missile struck. We've interviewed some witnesses and we've talked to local health officials in the area. And the reports coming out that there are, hundreds of people who have been wounded, over 100 that have been killed, that 4 missiles hit the site yesterday in the middle of the afternoon during a funeral ceremony for the father of the Minister of Interior. And what I would say from what we know right now is that this is one of the deadliest strikes that has happened in the last year and a half.
How does Human Rights Watch obtain this information? How do you interview people in Yemen?
So we work with a variety of people in Yemen. What we do is we've been doing interviews over the phone, over WhatsApp, over Skype, over a number of things. We get photos and videos of the site that we then analyze. We have weapons experts on staff that will look at these things and come to their own independent conclusions. And from there, then we sort of assess what may have happened and how it fits with international law.
And what have these witnesses been telling you about who they believe perpetrated the attack?
From what we have gathered so far in terms of information, it seems that the Saudi-led coalition conducted this attack. You are showing video footage on your show that shows something coming from the air and hitting the building. Again, we've seen pictures that show holes in the roof of the building. We've seen a couple of weapons remnants that seem to be aerial munitions. So from that, it appears that the Saudi-led coalition conducted this airstrike and that this strike, again, had sort of a very significant toll on the people who were attending this.
Now, this isn't conclusive, of course, and the Saudis say they will open their own investigation into the attack. Are you satisfied?
I would say the Saudi-led coalition has an obligation to investigate, but what I would say is that they have actually investigated airstrikes in the past, and from our assessment of these investigation efforts, they weren't transparent, they weren't credible, and they weren't impartial. So what I would say is, yes, they should investigate, but their investigations need to align with international standards to really satisfy their international requirements.
Kristine, the Houthis have complained that the United Nations and other international bodies have remained silent about this and other incidents in Yemen. Would you agree with that?
I would say that what we certainly need more of is an international outcry into not just this strike, but the last year and a half worth of conflict that has been marred by violations by all sides. So what happened yesterday was terrible, but it comes on the heels of 57 unlawful Saudi-led coalition airstrikes that Human Rights Watch has documented. So what I would say at this point, go ahead.
No, you please finish.
I would just say that what we need at this point is even more than sort of condemnations, but actually concrete action by governments in terms of, for example, stopping selling arms to Saudi.
Yes, the United States is saying it's going to review its support for the Saudi-led coalition. What would you accept as satisfactory from the United States?
I would say that it's great that the U.S. is being more willing to criticize the Saudi-led coalition when it has violated international law, but I would say what we would hope is that there would be concrete steps, because again, you don't need to do an investigation into this strike to know that there has been undeniable evidence that the Saudi-led coalition has committed war crimes and violations of international law in Yemen repeatedly, and therefore what the U.S. really should be doing at this point is suspending weapons sales to Saudi Arabia.
Okay, Kristine Beckerle, thank you very much for your analysis.